All right, guys, so this will be your assignment for the next week and a half. In a minute, I will go over the due dates for each section. This will be broken down into sections, which will begin with periods 1 through 3. That will begin tomorrow on April 21st and will be followed by periods 5 and 6 on Tuesday, April 21st. So this assignment is for you to create a unique sport. You know, there really is no wrong invention. It has to be something completely different. You can't say I'm creating a soccer game, or a baseball game, or this is a sport of baseball or volleyball, or, something that has already been invented is something that we've already played or heard of before. Yes, you can create a twist in games. So for example, something that's similar to volleyball, but not like volleyball, if that makes sense. So something unique, something out of the box. Like I said, there is really no wrong invention. So, just go for it. Create something fun and exciting. So here are the guidelines. Keep in mind that if you don't complete or, fill in each of these guidelines, if you don't include all of this in your game or your invention, then you will be losing points along the way. Okay. So as this says, you must follow guidelines below for complete credit. Okay. So your sport must be school appropriate. Okay. It has to be appropriate. It can't be, a sport where you're purposely injuring someone or, foul language or, anything inappropriate, which I know you guys, know what I'm talking about. Okay, so you must name your sport. Come up with a unique name. What is it called? What equipment is needed? Okay, what kind of balls are you using? Do you need cones? Uniforms or pennies, something to color code the players. Is there a specific field? Like, what are the dimensions or what is the shape of the field? What equipment do you need? You can include a drawing of the field so that I am able to understand, where the boundaries are or how big or small the field is. So make sure that you include a drawing. I believe you guys have access to, your Chromebooks have a drawing tool, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if you guys all have that tool on your Chromebooks, but if you do, that might be a good idea. Otherwise, you can just simply draw it on a piece of paper, and then once you're done, you can take a picture of it and add it onto your assignment once you turn it in. Okay. How many players are on a team, or is it an individual sport? Okay, for example, an individual sport would be like golf. Okay, it's just one person rather than a soccer team or tennis where you can have it individual or you can have a partner and play, with pairs. So, it's up to you. Make sure you list that as well. So what you see in yellow is part 1. Okay, so that will be the first part of your assignment. So for periods 1 through 3 on April 21st, this is the part that you must complete or at least have brainstormed more or less by the end of the period. Okay, and as you will see, I will explain towards the end that the class periods are going to be a lot shorter now with this new schedule. So the first part in yellow is what will be due first. Okay, and it's not set in stone, so it can just be simply, notes or you brainstorming. You can always change your mind and change it up, and turn something in, at the end. But I do need you guys to be working and completing stuff and turning something in by the end of the period. Okay, each period is 40 minutes long, if I am not mistaken. So that's part 1, okay? That's what you will be working on the first day. Now, part 2 is this in pink. Okay, this you will work on the second day that we meet this week, which will be on the April 23rd for periods 1 through 3, and then for 5 and 6 will be on April 24th. And I have that here at the bottom so that we don't get confused, okay? So part 2 in pink, you need to put specific rules for the sport, okay? Are there any outs in the game? Out of bounds. Substitution rules. Okay, how many players are on the team, and how and when can there be substitutions, if any? How is the sport evaluated or scored? Okay, so in basketball, depending on where you're standing, and if you make a shot, it's worth so many points. In soccer, okay, any goal you score is only worth 1 point. So be specific on that. What is a scoring system? How many halves or quarters, okay, are in the game? What is the length of the game? Okay, maybe it doesn't have any halves or quarters. Maybe it's just 25 minutes and that's it, straight 25 minutes, and there's no break in between. It's up to you, but be specific on that. Are there any officials needed, and what is the placement of the officials? Okay, so you can think of this as, a game that you're going to be watching on TV and there needs to be officials, or you can think of it as we're in class, we're in PE, and, the players are responsible for refereeing their own game. It's up to you. But like I said, again, you got to be specific. Okay, so that is part 2 in pink. And as you can see down here at the bottom, in pink is highlighted when that section or when that part is due. And again, it doesn't have to be like set in stone. That's what you're doing. It's more of a brainstorm of ideas, because again, I know that it's only 40 minutes and you might change your mind. You might think of something different when class is over. Okay. But again, something has to be turned in. At least some short notes for every single one of those bullet points. Okay. 40 minutes is a decent amount of time for you to be able to at least think of some brainstorming, some ideas of what you think you might want to come up with for each of those sections. At the end of the 40 minutes, if I only have the first 3 bullet points from you, then you're telling me you weren't really working. You were, off doing something different and not concentrating. So include anything else you can think of and be very specific, be creative, and make the game as fun as possible. So this last section, you can be creative and present your game via PowerPoint. You can screen record your presentation just like I am right now. I'm screen recording the screen along with my voice explaining. Okay, that would be a good idea to explain to help me understand the game, because when you're talking about it rather than just reading it, it might come off different. So if you are able to do that, then I would appreciate it. You can create a PowerPoint and then screen record it on your phone or your computer if you're able to do that, so that you are explaining to me with your voice. Okay, if you can't, then that's fine, but just make sure that the way in which you're going to be turning in your assignment, I will be able to understand. Okay, because that's also a big part of it. If I'm not able to understand it, it's not very clear, then you most likely will not be receiving full credit. So once again, here at the bottom are the due dates for part 1, periods 1 through 3. In yellow is due at the end of tomorrow. Okay. Part 2 in pink for periods 1 through 3 will be due the next time we meet, which would be April 23rd at the end of the period. And then 5 and 6, part 1 on 4/21, and the pink for part 2 on 4/24. Okay. The complete assignment, okay, your final assignment, you're turning it in, this is your game, this is how you're presenting it to me, is due for periods 1 through 3 on April 27th. So that is a week and a half from today. Okay. That'll be the 3rd time that we meet. So not on April 20th, not on the 23rd, but until the following week on April 27th. And then for periods 5 and 6, your due date for this assignment to be completely finished and presented is going to be April 28th. Okay. If you have any questions, you can always reach me via email. But like I said, I prefer if you just send me a message through Remind, because I will automatically get an alert on my phone that I have a message, rather than, checking my email every half an hour or so. So that's that. And I quickly wanted to go over the schedule just so that it makes sense if you haven't already seen it or nobody's ever explained it to you. Okay, so Monday, beginning with tomorrow, the first day of this new schedule, April 20th for periods 1, 2, and 3. Period 1 will begin at 8:50 to 9:30. That is 40 minutes long. From 9:30 to 9:50 if you are in first or fourth period. Okay, if you have any questions, you can always go ahead and still message me. Period 2 will begin at 9:50 to 10:30 a.m. That's also 40 minutes. And then after that, 10:30 to 12:30, you have your lunch break. You can check in with teachers. 12:30 to 1:10 is third period, and that is 40 minutes. Okay, and then afterwards, 1:30 to 2. Office hours, you can also reach us during that time or any of your other teachers that you have for any questions or clarification. So 2 to 3, it's also time for you to continue to work on assignments for any of your period 1, 2, or 3. Tuesday, okay, 4, 5, and 6, same thing, 8:50 to 9:30, period 4, 40 minutes. Period 5 on Tuesday will be 9:50 to 10:30, 40 minutes. You can ask for help after that class. Period 6 will begin 12:30 to 1:10. That's 40 minutes. And then after that, 1:10 to 1:30, you can also ask questions. And then as you can see at the bottom too. Okay. So here, I've already posted this in another attachment yesterday. So if you have any other questions, you can just, or want to continue to read this for more clarification, you can go ahead and do so. Okay. But I just wanted to quickly go over this so that it makes sense with the dates that I'm giving you here. All right. So I will be seeing each class every other day. Period 1 through 3, I'll see Monday and then again on Thursday. Periods 4, 5, and 6, I will see on Tuesday and then again on Friday. All right. It looks like you guys don't have class on Wednesdays. So again, if you have any questions, go ahead and send me a message on Remind. If you are not signed up, please go and sign up. The directions on how to sign up are on Google Classroom. All right. And then also I will be posting something on the stream, some morning announcements, most likely, where you will also be asked once again to reply to that with your first and last name for attendance. If you do not, then I assume you were not on Google Classroom logged in checking assignments. Okay. So please, first and last name,